Hello, welcome to Billion Happy Life Subscribers Marathon meetings, reading word scriptures, motivational quotes for happiness. Thank you for joining. Let's start reading next chapter. Perfection. Good topic today. Scriptures describe the virtues of a person who is one with the absolute, who is firmly established in truth, who is without sin and bondage to worldly corruption, and who exceeds the fullness of sanctifying grace. He or she may be called a saint, a sage, a Buddha, or a divine man. This state of perfection is not beyond our reach. It is our goal to be attained if we only make the effort. Gandhi once said, life is an aspiration, it's a mission, is to strive after perfection, which is self-realization. The ideal must not be lowered because of our weakness or imperfections. The passages in these sections describe the excellent quality of a person who has attained the state of perfection. Three characteristics of perfection in particular stand out. The first is mind-body unity. The saint has a dominion over him or herself, having overcome selfish desires and being purified of any feeling of lust, greed, or other cravings. As a result, he only wished to do what is right in accordance with God's will and the dictate of conscience. In St. Augustine's words, he is one who can love God and do what you will. Second, perfection is a state of unity with God. God is the pattern and model of the highest human aspirations. Thus, the saint participates in God's own perfection and comes to embody God's attributes, absoluteness, unchanging compassion, righteousness, etc. Third, perfection means they embody God's true love. Love or compassion is the core of God's being, as expressed in His untiring efforts to save sinful people. Therefore, a man or woman of perfection delight in the well-being of others and selflessly work for their benefit. Saintly love has no partially regards no one as an enemy, but always repays evil with good. Perfection begins with their own unity of mind and body. From Buddhism, a quote, a novice asked the Buddha, what is goodness and what is greatness? The Buddha replied, to follow the way and hold to what is true is good, when the will is in conformity with the way that is greatness. From Islam, quote, none of you truly believes until his inclination is in accordance with what I have brought. From Jainism, one who is rich in the alignment will not indulge in any sinful action, since his conscience is guided by the intellect fully illuminated with truth. From Buddhism, whose mind are well perfected in the factors of alignment, who without clinging delight in the giving up of grasping day, the corruption-free shining ones have attained nibbana even in this world. He whose senses are subdued like steeds, well trained by a charioteer, He who pride is destroyed and is free from the corruptions, such a steadfast one, even the gods hold dear. Like the earth, a balanced and a well-disciplined person resents not. He is like a fool, unsullied by mud to such a balance one life wandering do not arise. Calm in his mind, calm in his speech, calm in his action, who rightly knowing is worldly freed from defilements, perfectly peaceful and equipoised. The man who is not credulous but truly understands the uncreated nibbana, who has cut off of the links, who has put an end to occasion of good and evil, who has eschewed all desires, he indeed is a supreme man. Arjuna, tell me of those who is live established in wisdom, ever aware of the self of Krishna. How do they talk? How sit? How move about? Lord Krishna, they live in wisdom, who see themselves in all and all in them, who have renounced every selfish desire and sense craving tormenting the heart, neither agitated by grief nor hungered after pleasure. They live free from lust and feel fear and anger. Established in meditation, they are truly wise. Fitting no more by selfish attachments, they are neither elated by good fortune nor depressed by bad. Such are the seers. Even as a tortoise draw in its limb, the wise can draw in their sense at will. Aspirants abstain from sense pleasure, but they still crave for them. This craving all disappear when they see the highest goal, even of those who tread the path. The stormy sense can sweep off the mind. They live in wisdom, pursue their sense, and keep their minds ever absorbed in me. Bhagavad Gita 254:61 Hinduism. And from Islam, Abu Huraira reported God's messenger as saying, the believers whose faith is most perfect are those who have the best character. And from the Buddhism, another quote, the monk who has destroyed the conquers lived in life, done what has to be done, lay down the burden, won the goal, burst the bonds of becoming, and is free by the fullness of noises, cannot transgress nine standard among in whom the conquerors are destroyed, cannot deliberately take the life of any living thing, cannot within intention to steal, take what is not given, cannot indulge in carnal intercourse, cannot intentionally tell a lie, cannot enjoy pleasure from memories as of your when a householder among is whom the conquerors are destroyed, cannot go astray through desire, cannot go astray through hate, cannot go astray through delusion, cannot go astray through fear. And from Taoism, quote, he who has achieved is cannot either be drawn into friendship or repelled, cannot be benefited, cannot be harmed, cannot either be raised or humbled, and for that reason is highest of all creatures under heaven. And further, let's go reading quotes from Teaching of Second Coming Messiah Sun Myung Moon. Before you desire to have dominion over the universe, You should first have dominion over yourself. This is the first article in the life of faith. To attain self-perfection, you should have dominion over yourself. In other words, you should reach the state of self-mastery, controlling your body with no conflict or opposition between your mind and body. The structure of a human being consists of dual aspect, mind and body. The mind relates to the vertical standard, while the body relates to horizontal standard. Had human being attained God's ideal standard at the beginning, always receiving God's love, then whenever the bell of God's love would ring in their vertical mind, their body on the earth plane would resonate with it and feel uh, everything. Whenever the mind, like a spirit self, resonate vertically with true love, the body on the horizontal plane would naturally respond. When you strike an A on a turning fork, it sends a wave of a certain frequency through space, and when they match the frequency of another object, that object sends its waves back. This is called resonance. Likewise, there is resonance between mind and body at the frequency of love. When love strikes the mind or spirit self, the body responds. Had human beings not fallen, it would have been this way. By what standard would the resonance occur? The resonant frequency had to be true love. When your mind and body became one, God will be with you. This is fundamental principle. Why would God be with you at that point? Because that is where love is. Love begins when mind and body became one. For love to flow, subject and object are necessary. Therefore, God is with the person who has established mind and body unity. Then his or her body becomes God's temple. What sort of place is God's temple? It is a place of Sabbath rest. And what can God rest? Love. God's temple is the place to rest in the love of God. The highest human aspiration is the abide in the place of love, the world of heart. It is like a fountain. There is no end to love, no matter how much pours out. Why does love have no end? Because God dwells there. God is like pure gold. There is nothing false about God. What should we do to be united with God? We should not be false people. That means our mind and body should be united, just as God, internal nature and external form are united. That is the meaning of Matthew 5:48. You therefore must be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. Each member of the family first needs to perfect his or her individual character. This requires removing the fallen nature, which has been passed down through the generations since the human fall. In other words, each person must be victorious in the struggle between the mind and body. Then the world of harmony will bear fruit in that individual perfection character, a state of one heart, one mind, and one thought. Fallen nature, which causes jealousy, envy, greed, hatred, and all other evils, will never again take root in a person who has achieved that state. The purpose of religion is to cultivate people of character who live by the laws of the world of the heart and all the principles of the cosmos and thereby govern the emotions of life. Unless you can perfect yourself, you cannot perfectly love God. And further, let's read from the World on the Way to Perfection, the chapter World Perfection. Today's countries and the world are like a speeding bus without a clear direction. Moreover, if we ask bus drivers, our presidents, or even leader of UN, where we are going in 100 years or 1,000 years, we couldn't get a clear answer. This is because current politicians care only about what will occur in their 5 years when they are in power. When we elect them, we are hoping to elect a leader that will do something lasting and impactful on a global scale, not only for our individual country, but also for our entire world, that will affect for good future generation too. Moreover, very strange things are going on in the world nowadays, but we everything try to be blind about. For example, almost all so-called developed countries are selling armaments and deadly weapons to developing countries under the excuse that we are helping them. These developed countries involved in these practices are aiding in the provocation of conflict and war. Then these developed countries without tax money spend our tax money to send troops or soldiers to fight and war against those using the same weapons we sold to them. Many people are dying just to make money for the arms industry. Many instances of corruption are happening in all levels of government in various countries. Why are we so blind to this? We should accelerate the great disarmament global trend that started with the end of Cold War to pass peaceful armaments-free world to descendants, so our descendants can live in a world free of such violence and corruption. Thanks God and people's effort, today's world is uniting and developing even more than before. There are less borders in the world, and people can travel more freely than before in our global village. A great trend is that the smallest nations are creating unions such as the European Union. One of the barriers that is stopping the world from uniting is the ancient mentality of enemies nations. This mindset on the individual level that others are enemies, as we have discussed in previous chapter, also occur on the international level as well. In addition, civilization is developing so fast that governments have not been able to keep up with technology and their people. One very sensitive issue today is that taxes are constantly increasing, and it is creating friction between government and its people. They are saying that taxes are the payment to live in a free world, but many are questioning how the government uses them. The bigger the country, the more it uses taxes for war. People are demanding healthcare and education for almost free, but we are seeing that the healthcare and education program offered by the government are of the lowest level. Why are government not using the latest development in these areas to serve their people? The answer is simply because of corruption. The government tried to stop progress, invents enemies and sanction, and they create more borders. And this is all because of corruption. It is such a pity that in our current age, so many politicians still use ancient tactics with wars and sanction to distract the attention of the people instead of helping them prosper. Hopefully, with modern technology and social networks, we will continue to call out the mindsets of our leaders as life becomes more transparent and less corrupt. Making a step forward and thinking a bit, we can figure out that today's world doesn't need any borders, and all people in the world should receive the same basic education in any country so that they be able to work and live freely anywhere. To control migration is simple. We need to have good police and online cameras as they do in Singapore, or there could be maintained just by police. With today's tech development, there is an obvious fact that we don't need borders anymore. As we study history flow, we can understand that it has a clear purpose to create an ideal world. All humankind, even individuals, are now aware of it, is connected as one network, one body. We notice or not in our life, but all humankind are interconnected. Therefore, social networks get so big successful nowadays. Only small problem is in any corner of the world is reported. Any small problem in any corner of the world is reported in the news, and humanity emphasizes about it. Even more significant is that we are not only connected to technology, but we are connected to each other spiritually. As spiritual beings, we are connected with the spirit world and with God, as testified by many spiritualists. It is evident that when we hear stories of people dreaming of their relatives who went to the spirit world, many scientists and business people are also receiving revelation through dreams, like we mentioned above. People are also having experiences of dying and coming back with similar stories about what happens and where they went while they were dead, often describing another world where they met family members. We see already that families, tribes, and even religious regions and full regions leave their mother countries and join another. This is a global trend that almost all countries that are free to choose will want to join Europe, US, or another developing country. Therefore, world unity is inevitable. Also, people need a global passport to free migration to not have such big problems at the borders. For more about Global Passport Initiative, read my other book, The World of 2020s. These days, we see that migration is so good at helping to develop countries and create an environment of financial and cultural harmony. Many great-minded people have been proposing the idea of a global government, something that seems to be an inevitable part of our future. Local governments will be better connected to each other to the point where they would not be able to function without such interactions. Even though we have United Nations, it seems that much of the political discussions that take place there have been about where to bomb next or why the previous bombing wasn't hidden enough from the media and people. By pursuing only their national interest, it seems that many countries are unable to grow from juvenile thinking and mature enough into real diplomats with an parental heart to take smart decisions that will benefit all humankind, not only for now, but the future too. The UN needs intercultural and interreligious councils creating to help bridges gaps toward mutual understanding and agreement for all humankind to prosper. Laws, national and international, have to keep in accordance with divine principles. Otherwise, it simply don't work as we see nowadays. However, some laws are too nationalistic and disturb international cooperation and development. Hopefully, it's developed a lot recently, so a harmonious global community is inevitable. As we begin the 21st century, we find yes, so interesting, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for watching this video, for joining our daily motivational meeting, reading quotes from world scriptures. This Billion Happy Life Subscribers Marathon. Please comment this video and share it with all your friends who will interesting to develop our global village more perfectly and finish global peace building by 2027. For cooperation, contact me. Have a great, blessed day. All the best.